Sometimes the hardest lessons in life come from the most painful mistakes, but the power lies in knowing that once you've learned, you'll never repeat them again. The clarity that follows is a freedom you can't put a price on. In the face of regret, I now realize that every mistake I made served as a reminder that growth only comes from facing those hard truths. I'll never make that mistake again, not because I want to avoid pain, but because I've grown stronger than that. It's one thing to make a mistake, but the real growth happens when you look yourself in the mirror and promise that you'll never make that mistake again. It's in those moments of raw honesty with yourself that you truly change. The regret that used to weigh me down now feels like the fuel that propels me forward. Every wrong turn has sharpened my instincts, and I'm never going to make that mistake again. I used to be paralyzed by the thought of failure, but now I wear my mistakes like badges of honor. Each one is a lesson that I'll never forget, and certainly I'll never make that mistake again. If the past taught me anything, it's that pain is inevitable, but staying stuck in the same loop is a choice. I've learned my lesson, and from now on, I'll never make that mistake again. There's a certain strength that comes from owning your mistakes. The real power lies in turning that pain into wisdom and vowing to never make the same missteps twice. The key to growth isn't in avoiding mistakes, but in learning from them. I'm stronger, wiser, and more aware than I was before, and I'll never make that mistake again. It's one thing to make a mistake, but it's another to truly learn from it. I've made my fair share, but each one has taught me something valuable, and I promise I'll never make that mistake again. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about having the courage to rise after falling and knowing deep down that you'll never make that mistake again. I've learned the hard way that no lesson is ever wasted. I've made mistakes, but now I know better. I'll never make that mistake again. I've grown tired of repeating the same mistakes, and now I'm determined to break free. The lessons learned have become the foundation of my future, and I'll never make that mistake again. Every mistake I've made has led me to a better version of myself. I'll never make that mistake again because now I know how to listen to my intuition. Mistakes are the building blocks of wisdom. Once you learn the lesson, the real strength lies in never repeating the same error. And I'm determined I'll never make that mistake again. What defines us isn't the mistakes we make, but how we grow from them. I've learned my lessons, and from now on, I'll never make that mistake again. I'm no longer afraid to face my mistakes head on because they've shaped me into who I am today. With each lesson learned, I'm promising myself that I'll never make that mistake again. Regret can be a powerful teacher. It shows us what we need to change, and I've learned exactly what to do differently. I'll never make that mistake again. Mistakes used to break me, but now they guide me. They've taught me the importance of reflection, and I'm moving forward knowing I'll never make that mistake again. Growth comes from knowing what to do next time. The past is full of lessons, and I'll never make that mistake again because I've learned to trust myself more. The beauty of life is in the lessons it teaches us. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone, and I'll never make that mistake again because I've learned to walk with more purpose. I used to think mistakes were failures, but now I see them as necessary steps toward becoming who I am meant to be. I'll never make that mistake again because I've learned to step forward with confidence. Life's too short to keep repeating the same mistakes. I've taken the time to learn, reflect, and grow, and now I'll never make that mistake again. The only real failure is to repeat the same mistakes without learning from them. I've learned what I needed to, and I'll never make that mistake again. My mistakes have been my teachers, and now I'm moving forward with more wisdom. I'll never make that mistake again. The beauty of making mistakes is that they show you what doesn't work. Once you've seen that, you can avoid the same path and make better choices. I'll never make that mistake again. Mistakes are only mistakes if you don't learn from them. I've taken the lessons to heart, and from now on, I'll never make that mistake again. It's okay to make mistakes, but what matters is how we rise from them. I've learned to rise stronger, wiser, and more prepared, and I'll never make that mistake again. What once felt like a setback now feels like a blessing. I've gained invaluable wisdom, and I'll never make that mistake again.